All right, so we're still working in our routes. So previously this is what we did, and I asked you to create another get route called post and return the post title and description. All right, so hope you did. If you didn't, you can just watch me doing it or do it together. So router.get. So I asked you to create a post endpoint. So you would do something like that, post, and you will be able to access this using /API/post. Right. So here again, callback function request response, and then you return response JSON, and I ask you to send a post. Now you could have called it data, that's totally fine. Actually, let's call it data, and then I ask you to send the title and description. So title, let's say this is my first post, doesn't matter what you write. So description, let's say this is my post description. All right, so something like that. Okay, so if you did create a get route for the post with something like this, then congratulations. All right, so let's try that. So we have now one more endpoint, right? So previously we had just /API, which has been prefixed, but now we have /API/post. So let's give that a try. /API/post. You see, beautiful. So we got a post with the title and description. Now this is called API, right? So this is what we're building. We're building a Nodejs API, and when your React application make a request to this endpoint, your React application will be receiving this data, and this data you will be displaying nicely for the users, right? Are you looking for online course that will teach you how to build full stack, back to front, React and Node.js applications from scratch? Hi, my name is Ryan. I have over 30 full stack courses published in Udemy. Most of these courses are based in real world examples. So today, I want to tell you just one thing. If you have basic understanding of JavaScript, don't wait anymore. Start building real-world projects with me and take your coding skill to a whole new level. I will teach you the core fundamentals of React, Node, and modern JavaScript so that you can start building full-stack JavaScript apps in no time. All my courses are suitable for beginner to pro-level users. Each line of code is explained. Each question is answered, and the source code is provided for all lectures. Click the 90% discount links down below to start this awesome journey with me. Anyways, so far so good. Now one more thing, let's explore when we are learning about routes. So how do you actually access the route parameters? For example, let's say what I want to do is let's remove this one. Okay, so that was just learning. Remove that, and I'm going to change to user. Okay. Now, as soon as you do that, you won't have access to this endpoint because that we removed that. You don't even have the API that you had before. We don't have it anymore. Why? Because you see, I changed that to /user. So let's go to /user, and now you see we got that. Now, what I want to do is I want to send some route parameters. For example, I want to send the username. So user/ maybe my username is Ryan. Okay, so let's say I make a request like this. Now obviously that endpoint doesn't exist. Okay, but actually this one shouldn't be the colon, it should be like that. So user/Ryan. Okay, so this could be different. This could be David. Next time this could be, like Jen, could be anything. Now, what we need to do in our server is we need to somehow grab this dynamic value, all right, and then make use of that, because in a real application, this could be username, which is saved in the database. So whatever username you're getting, based on that, you're going to make a query to the database and get that user from the database, and send the response back to the client. All right. So how do you grab such dynamic params in your server? Well, you can do that by writing it like this. So slash colon, and after the colon you can call it anything. You can call it username, for example. You can call it like that, and then that will give you the access to this dynamic params. So let me console log request.params. Okay, so previously you also tried console log request, but that was a big object we didn't notice. But in that object we would have this function params, which will give us the params here. Okay, so colon, give it a name, and then you will be able to access that using request params. So give it a try. Now you see, because we have the endpoint with the params, it works, right? So we don't see any different, but it worked. Now let's have a look at the console. Let's see what we got. And you see in our console we got the username Zen. All right, that's beautiful. Now let's try different. Let's try Ryan. And you see we got Ryan. So that's how you get access to the route params. Now in real application you could use that to query the database, but at the moment we don't have the database. So if you want, you can do something like that. For example, request params dot username. So you can send the name, whatever you got as username. Okay, and then the email also. You could do something like that. So this is just for learning purpose. Okay, so let me use backticks $, so that you can put variables inside the string. Alright, so request params dot username at gmail.com. Now if you do this, let's have a look what happens. Okay, so you send the username Ryan, and based on that our server give us the response back based on that. Now if you change this to David, you see we got that response. Okay, so that's beautiful. Now obviously this is just for learning purpose, but you could have some fun here. For example, make the first letter, make it uppercase. Okay, so this is just for fun. We can do that by applying let's say okay, so it gets a little bit long. What we can do is we can simplify this by destructuring the username from request params, just so that we don't have to keep repeating this. Okay, so let me try that. Const destructure username from request params. Okay, so this is more than JavaScript. If it is confusing, please check out my free course on React Node. I have covered all this. Alright, so we destructure username from request params. Now we don't have to keep repeating that. We can just leave it like that. Okay, so nothing changes. What we try to do is try to make the first letter uppercase. Okay, so we can do that by using username dot character at 0. So the first character to uppercase. So we can use this function. These are built-in JavaScript functions. We can use that. And if you try, you see we got the first character and we made it uppercase, but now we need to get the rest as well. Alright, so we can get the rest by again. Now let me copy all this, put it inside backticks $curly brace. Alright, so we got that first letter uppercase. Now we need the remaining. So the remaining you get by again using $curly brace username, and we're going to use the slice function. Okay, so we're going to slice and now slice takes two arguments, the beginning and the end. Okay, so the beginning is not the 0. 0 means the very beginning of the username, so we don't want that. So we want to start from 1. and then the end is all the way along. So in that case, you don't even have to give the second argument, you just use slice 1. Okay, so if you do that, you get the remaining from starting from position 1. By default it is 0, so if you did that, then you would get all that, but obviously we don't want that, so we do this, and that gives us that the name with the uppercase, which is what we wanted. All right, so that's name. Now the email. Now email is fine, looks valid. For example, now let's say the username was user supplied the full name, for example, Ryan Tungil. Now when that happens, you see the email, it has this space. So let's say we wanted to make it no space, so that is also something we can do. Again, this is for fun, right? So what we can do, there's another function we can use in JavaScript that is called, let me apply that here, to username dot replace all. So we can use this function, and it takes 2 arguments. The first one is what do you want to replace. So in our case, we want to replace these spaces, empty space like that. That's the first argument. And then second argument is what do you want to replace it with. So in our case, let's say dash. We want to replace the white space with dash. All right, and then at gmail.com. But if you want to make them all lowercase, again, you can use this function, lowercase. All right, now if you try that, lowercase is not a function. 2 lowercase, sorry, it should be 2 lowercase. All right, now you see we got the name and we got the email. We made them all lowercase, and we replaced the empty space with dash. Obviously, it's not something important for learning to build API with Nodejs, but we had some fun here. All right, so in this video, you learn how to grab the route params in Node Express app.